essentially, or quote-unquote globals, are going to be taken off the board, and now mid lane will be down to what they want to try and prioritize. But the AD carries, which, you know, have dominated the meta for so long, they're just still up and available.
Yeah, Aphelios hasn't been banned as he was last time. Jace as well has been left open. Looks like RNG might just opt in the scaling, so going for the Corki. This doesn't really play to how game one went, right? We said the importance of having that priority mid and playing around it. RNG opting to go for something that will pay off later. The downside is Tarzan can just take the Lee Sin on this rotation if he really wants it. They'll pick up the Jinx first, making sure they get choice of AD carry. So once again, great jungler, strong AD carry to play for. You could easily pick up something for Doinb on this third pick that really allows you to stomp that mid jungle.
Yeah, and I think this is where having these opportunities available to you on LNG, you have got plenty of things here. Like I said, you can go for the support, you can go for mid, hell, you can pick up the Gwen as well. Lots of options available here for LNG on the red side, but RNG get themselves their prioritized bot lane, they also get themselves a prioritized mid laner, and now you're going to see where the priority in terms of the last few picks and bans go. Tahm, Kench locked and loaded here. Haven't seen a lot of it in the LPL, but can do a lot, especially at keeping someone like the Jinx alive and well in these team fights.
I think particularly when you're against the Nautilus, Nautilus has great single target CC, but unlike a Leon, it's not great AoE. So with the Tahm Kench, very hard for him to have too much impact on light. Now, I feel like banning away junglers makes complete sense here. Once again, the Xin Zhao, the Jarvan is another one that could ban next for RNG. I am looking at mids, right? Things that you think might be able to pressure the Corki. You go for the scaling options, the Victor, the Orianna out there. Some of the more early game options, things like the LeBlanc, the Vex, are definitely things you can take away. But yeah, RNG probably banning mids, although you still have to think about the top lane. Jace is open and available. Gwen is open and available. They are going to start off with the Orianna. LNG, I think you could just ban the Jarvan, unless if they ban a Jace here, right? Then RNG might be forced to ban away the Gwen or leave it open for RLA to pick up. So a lot of mind games, that potential here, and they do ban the Jace. So RNG, do you ban the Gwen? Do you leave it open? That's the choice here.
Got yourself a choice. See what they want to go for in the end of it in RNG. I feel like you have to try and give Vince something. I think they can either leave the Gwen open and then maybe go for the Jax or the Graves. There are options available to you, but like we said, and the Kennen as well. So there are ways you can work around it. So maybe they go for it, or maybe they say, look, we have plenty in the back pocket, and the Akali going to be banned away. So now you've got yourself an opportunity here for LNG, and yeah, we expect this one to be locked in, and they are going to do that. Ala with the big old scissors in the top side. We'll see who's able to make use out of that.
Kind of confused because normally Akali is another pick that's taken into the Gwen, so kind of interesting that they are opting to ban it away, but maybe concerned about the threat of it in the mid lane. Either way, you know, we've seen Lee Sin taken, Xin Zhao banned. They are going to go for this Viego, a lot of strong skirmishing power, but obviously not as much early agency as the Lee Sin. And then I feel like this is par for the course, right? The Gwen is picked, the Jax is available. They are toying with the idea if it obviously scales exceptionally well into the later stages in that matchup. But also, you have a lot of auto attackers on the side of LNG already. Definitely means you can join the team fights, and his E will have a ton of value.
Now, how do you round this out as LNG? You've got one last pick. You're almost certainly going to be giving it to Doinb. And again, he's got a couple of fringe ideas in him. So do we see something crazy coming in here for the last pick for our LNG?
So there is sort of two pools of thought. You can go for the mage, which can contest prio, things like the Orianna or the Victor, or the higher pressure mid laners to sync up with the Lee Sin. Vex, definitely one of those. This LNG, they have the strong scaling elements in the side lane, and they have this strong mid jungle to set it up. I feel like RNG holistically have a lot of, you know, you have the Corki skills effectively. Veigar is great after levels, Viego is great after level 6 in the skirmishes, but I feel like they don't have as much early agency in the mid jungle to set it up. I do feel like, however, the Nautilus Aphelios is a bit stronger in the laning phase than that Jinx Tahm Kench.
Well, we have got the compositions locked and loaded. You can see with RNG, they're looking to keep everyone at a bit of a safe distance and then maybe go for some odd number skirmishes, get that Viego getting the resets in while the Corki does the damage from the sides. And the other end of it, you do have a pretty decent hard engaged composition. You go in with the Vex, the Lee Sin, and of course the Gwen could follow up as well with a little bit of safety for the Jinx. So a bit more front to back here for the side of LNG, as both teams will be, well, LNG will be looking to emulate their game one performance, and RNG very much needing a shake-up.
Yeah, and the comp is very different, right? I feel like LNG kind of have a similar sort of play pattern to the game one, right? Strong mid jungle, lean aside, get things rolling. They have the Jinx again, they have the Gwen again. You know, there's a few changes here and there, but I expect a similar play pattern. RNG's is vastly different. And they do have a lot of options in the later stages that come online. You know, team fights, the Corki, really powerful. We obviously haven't seen the package nerfed yet that we do have on live, so we'll have that for every neutral objective they want. They have the bot lane, who's pretty strong in the early laning phase. And then in the skirmishing, you have the Viego. The Jax is going to be great into the Gwen. I just feel like RNG is different, but they still have a lot of tools. And honestly, after that game one, I would want something different too.
See what they're able to do. RNG will not want a repeat of game one, but LNG looking to keep the streak alive. They are one game away for a perfect half of a split. It will go to 8-0, very much solidifying themselves at the top end. It will be a great start to what can be a pretty tough run of games. They have to play V5 and Weibo all in week 6. This would be a great start for them. And honestly, the more these games go on, the more confidence I have in this team. It does feel like bit by bit, slowly but surely, they are becoming a title contender.
Absolutely. And the thing is, right, 7-0 still. This was their streak in summer last year. They still haven't won this series yet, so still an opportunity for them to miss out. But 1-0 puts them in a good spot now. See LNG trying to get some potential vision here. You have a pretty strong level 1 between the Tahm, Kench, and the Vex, but we'll throw a ward down. Also lean in the brush, potentially make RNG think maybe they warded there, but either way, have some vision to track way in the early game. It's pretty important. You know, you'll see it matched on either side, but particularly the Lee Sin is the one you want to be looking out for more, right? The Viego kind of needs level 6 to really be strong on those skirmishes, get the resets on the ult, but Lee Sin from level 3 is a menace, especially with Tarzan.
Oh, let's see now. Both junglers going to be starting on their red buffs, so going to be top lane for RNG, where they'll have the early priority should anything go that way, and bot lane for LNG. Mid laners going to be pretty nothing happening, I would imagine, in the mid lane or on the top side. Both these top laners very happy to just keep farming up. And where do you expect to see most of the big action? You talked about that early priority for the mid jungle duo here for LNG, but where do you expect both teams to really look for that early game advantage that they so desperately crave?
I think honestly Wei is just fine farming up and covering lanes. I think if you're gonna find anything, it's gonna be bot lane though. One of the things with Tahm Kench is obviously old Tahm, you had that W available early. Very hard to pressure that. But with current Tahm Kench, you don't have the gobble until level 6, right? So if an engage does come through, not a ton you can do really to turn it around. But on the other side, Tarzan, he has opportunities, right? If Bin overextends top, that's an angle. Mid is a good one. If the fear comes in from the Vex, very threatening. And honestly, I think he might have just found a window here.
May have. You still have the Valkyrie available for Xiaohu, and of course the flash as well. We are going to have the fear coming in, the flash in, the personal space. Still very difficult to land everything on top of the mid laner, but Summoner's blown. You will gain a Summoner for a Summoner.
Honestly, I think it's an advantage for RNG, right? The gank comes, isn't successful. That's time that Tarzan has spent that is essentially going to nothing, and you have to trade down, right? Ignite and flash bin from Doinb there for just the flash of Xiaohu. Unfortunately, the fear wasn't long enough to lock it in place for the Sonic Wave to connect, and didn't have enough damage to follow through. So Xiaohu will survive, and top lane Bin is doing a pretty solid job already in this matchup, and trading very effectively in RLA, so much so that they can threaten this dive.
They can definitely do it. There is no TP available for Vex, so you recognize it a little bit. They're going to tank up the turret. They flash in. They get him down, but it's going to be traded back. It was almost perfect from Alva. That ignite was so key.
Yeah, I mean, the ignite ends up going on Wei, but it means both of them. It's very precarious, right? You have to be really cautious about that dive, and actually, it's a summoner trade down for RNG, both of them burning flashes compared to just ignite from Arley. And he will TP back up, so misses a bit of farm, not a ton, but now seeing a bit of an engaged bot.
On the LvMao, the catfish, pretty damn tanky, has got the grey health as well available to him. You also have Tarzan in tow, who's trying to show Wei how you play this Lee Sin, trying to have as much of an early impact as he possibly can. Both these bot laners have gone with full starts. They are stacking up rather nicely for themselves, and Tarzan not really losing a lot by being here. He's just making sure that it should RNG go a little bit too aggressive, they are there to capture.
Well, I think they're looking for the gank. Wei is coming down to answer though.
And they are going to look for Gala. Will get stunned up a little bit. They do get himself on top of the traps, but here is Wei, who gets himself around the chompers. It does not land himself the roof. Both junglers backing themselves away, but it is RNG who come out on top of the health train.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to crush this wave, and that's the big thing, is that when a wave is in this position, it's pushing in, very precarious for the team who has the built-up wave. So Tarzan trying to find a gank opportunity. Wei was a little bit late from that, for coming down there from his plays on the top side, but is able to make it and able to help them crush it. Now they're threatening Tarzan. Tarzan Does have the smite, so can just smite to heal off the Gromp, and if he secures it, obviously gives a ton of health. So not too much of a threat. But Wei still hanging around on the bot side in case anything's amiss.
Not going to make anything happen for it. It's still just a 1-1 trade of kills and the scoreline right now, but recognizing that they have got themselves the pressure in the bot side, they also got the reset in for Xiaohu, who's going to be able to go back and get himself on his TP, so no real pressure available for LNG. So first dragon will go over to RNG, and this is a little bit better from now from Wei. We're seeing him on a little bit more of a comfort. I will say that this feels a lot better for him compared to the Lee Sin in game 1, and he is having a little bit more of an impact so far, so good.
Definitely the fact that he matched bot right. They didn't get the successful gank made for LNG. Yes, they did trade in the top lane. Overall, this is positive for RNG, right? I think in this situation, you can be happy if you're going even, just because you're the strength of the Corki when it comes to those team fights, and the Viego at 6. But now they are fishing for this dive. Bin, this is not a fun spot to be in.
This is definitely not, but he jumps away from the Shadow Surge, and now Doinb. Oh my god, I thought he was going to die there. That was very, very close, and now you've used that big ultimate available for Doinb. He's not going to have that kill pressure in mid lane, and while that's been happening, Xiaohu's just got free push. I will say you are answering it in the bot side. Gala, respecting the fact that he doesn't have a support with him, will have to back himself away from this turret.
Yeah, very scary against the Tahm Kench. You can tank so many tower hits there, and that's the thing, is that Ming moved all the way top, right? He expected this play to go down, gets there in position, but because he shows up top and isn't there to help his AD carry, they actually lose out a lot in the bot lane. So despite the fact that the play went amiss, still a 500 gold lead between AD carries. And as you said, mid lane, there's a gold lead for Xiaohu because obviously he didn't roam up there. So there's a little bit back and forth, but ultimately a Jinx getting strong is quite scary.
This is where the game, we start to see the push and pull. We talk about, you know, the opportunity costs and also just what you're trading, what you're gaining versus what you're losing. And for Gala, sadly for him, he's going to have to try and gain back a little bit of the gold. He's already down about 400 of that on his own side, but you're gaining it on the other side. Top lane, the mid lane doing very, very well here for the side of RNG, specifically in that mid lane, already 400 gold up as well in their own right. So this is going to be a interesting matchup here as we see both teams scaling up, trying to get themselves the advantages that they can possibly garner.
Yeah, Bit actually going for a freeze on the top side there. Trying to hold it. Obviously, no TP from RA means she's going to miss a bit of farm. Now, Wei has made his way into the bot side. No 6 available for Tahm Kench, so definitely a gank opportunity.
Yeah, and they can focus him out as well. They know that he hasn't really got a place to go, anywhere to be, but ooh, Ming nearly landing himself onto the dredge line, but a good opportunistic movement here. This is the way I wanted to see. This feels a million miles away from the way we saw in game 1.
Yeah, now they will pressure Light away. Tarzan's coming down, but he's a little bit late, so they'll be able to get some plates answered back here. Just positive play, and again, that's the thing with Tahm Kench. Try to channel the W. The Nautilus route means you can't get it through. Not much you can do when they target the Tahm Kench, but honestly, even if they targeted Light there, if he was overextended, no gobble available yet. So RNG find another favorable play, and again, this mid jungle we talked about, the Vex and the Lee Sin, that early pressure that they have hasn't amounted to anything, right? CS disadvantage mid, you've lost a plate mid, Tarzan 0-0-0. Wei is now level 6. The Viego gets a massive power spike at that point. Not only you get the ultimate, which resets when you steal a champion, but also it's the fact that it means you can jump out of a champion early. Because pre-6, there's so many times where like you kill a support, you steal them, and then you're like, I don't want to be like a Leona for this long. I need my damage back. But with that 6, obviously you can jump out anytime. Now, LNG looking to pressure down on the bot side. Ming, you might be in a rough spot.
He has his ultimate, though, and that's the big difference right now. He's going to be able to get the CC down. Here's the package. Yes, he loses his life, but what are they going to trade it back? Tarzan goes down. Double kill, though, for the Jinx. They go back in with the Shadow Surge. Good flash away by Doinb. He's trying to get this one to work for him. He will eventually take him down. 3-for-1 trade, and you get all that yummy gold onto Light's Jinx.
Ends up being a 3-for-2 actually, so still favorable for LNG, and Light being alive at the end means he's going to get a ton of gold. LNG can definitely be happy with that one, but it wasn't super clean. And the other side, we do see the Rift Herald picked up by Wei, so overall could end up at roughly a net even trade on the back of that, which is definitely not what LNG were going for, but you'll take it when the package comes down.
Yeah, Bin is going to get a couple of scissor snips onto the backs of his ankles. Let's have a look at the replay here, because again, this is Ming, but the important thing is he does get his ultimate just before they get on top of him.
Yeah, he's still very squishy. Obviously, this is a glacial augment. Nautilus goes down quick, but gets that disruption. The package, unfortunately, doesn't connect with anyone. but they do manage to burst out the Lee Sin, and then the re-engage critically. They let the tower aggro reset, so the tower not doing a ton of damage here, but still enough to take down Doinb. It's a well-played dive by LNG. Overall, I don't think you can ask for too much more considering how many members of RNG there was and the fact they had the package coming in. But still, RNG managing to do a somewhat decent job of turning things around.
This is a lot better from RNG compared to game one, but for LNG, they are still hunting. They are still pushing forward, trying to find any kind of advantage they possibly can. It's going to be down to RNG to either mitigate it or try and find advantages of their own. We will see now with the Rift Herald where they can go with that particular buff. Dragon going to be started here by LNG. That is only their first one of the game. We will have either an Inferno, an Ocean, or a Cloud Soul for this Rift after this is taken.
No real response going to come through from RNG. And we can see, I think when you look at the goal differences here, right? Pretty big in the jungle and mid in favor of RNG, but AD carry over 1,000 lead, and now yeah, Ming I think he's just dead.
I think Ming is in fact dead. He will be taken out by Tarzan, but Tarzan's caught underneath the tower, and they will have to use the Devour. So gobble, gobble, gobble. Sounds like Thanksgiving as RNG will not get themselves a trade back. And now Xiaohu with the Shadow Surge. You can't flash in a straight line. It will just keep him underneath the tower just about, but that was risky from Xiaohu.
Yeah, just wanted to cover as much distance as possible, but didn't quite find a good angle to avoid the ultimate. Will survive. Now Wei fishing for Tarzan, but doesn't find him. And again, Wei burnt the flash, trying to pin down Tarzan before the ult came. And again, Ming moved, right? Ming, this has been a constant recurrent thing. He moves, and then LvMao doesn't, and as a result, Gala has been left isolated time and time again. Look at the health of this tower. The level lead, the gold advantage, 1,300 in favor of light. It's been pretty rough for the Aphelios so far.
It's been just not a fun time, and now you can see RNG getting some vision control around this bot side. Wei saying he has to try and mitigate this one up, because again, 1,300 gold lead. They want to try and put these plates maybe somewhere in this bot side, but it's so difficult to do. You can't really risk it and try and overforce your hand. And Light has been someone that we haven't really talked about that much in terms of LNG, but he has been a fantastic carry for this team so far. The split, we've seen him on the Zeri, we've seen him on the Jinx, the Aphelios, all the standard carries, and really has stepped up and become a top quality AD carry for this team. And it was something that LNG maybe had a couple of questions about coming into the split, so really glad to see him making a name for himself.
Yeah, I think he's honestly been phenomenal, and I think it's so important having someone reliable that you can lean on in this meta, right? Being able to get the advantages that we often see Tarzan do, and having someone who can use that and transition it into a win is pretty vital.
Now we're coming up to about 13 minutes into the game. Dragon not going to be spawning for 3 minutes. Where do you want to see RNG bring this one back? I say bring this one back. They're equal on gold, equal on dragons, but where do you want to see them prioritize? And same for the side of LNG. Where do you want to see these teams look to make their advantages known?
You know, I can try and answer that, but it's kind of pointless. In Wei is throwing the herald down bot. It was about a timeout.
Could have looked like a god.
I'm not going to take
bot.
I'm not going to take the easy pass when it's already been set up on the map. They will throw the herald down. It'll get 2 plates. It won't get the tower. LNG let it defend, and critically, Gala gets no gold from that, right? Wasn't able to step up in range and secure anything, but 30 seconds till those plates going down. So not only was the herald about a timeout, but the plates as well. And then Xiaohu has the package.
You're like the Incredible Hulk. You're gonna get triggered and just get really mad now in a second because there's no dragon in sight. And now LNG
I mean, okay, I think maybe he was like, I'll have the package so we can play for this bot tower. But now we have, if you look at the top right of the screen, you can see Rift Herald is spawning in a minute 15. The package will be out for that. If you look at the top left of your screen, you'll see Dragon is spawning in a minute 50. There'll be no package available for that. So needless to say, I'm not exactly happy with this sort of situation, but regardless, I guess that's RNG's mistake to make.
I do very much enjoy casting with you, Hawks. It is just so funny seeing how annoyed you get about these very small little things.
It's so easy. It's so easy to do, right? Like I can't fault you for like, potentially getting punished by Tarzan, right? He's exceptional in the jungle. You know, if he catches you out, fair play. But it's like, you look at the time, you look at where the objectives are coming up, you press tab, right? You press tab. Oh, there's an objective in less than a minute. Let's grab package. Boom. Simple.
And this is where we come back into this game, and bot lane being taken. Ming might have to flash away. Yes, he does. Safeguard over to the ward would have been his demise had he been kicked back, and now LNG can keep pushing down this bot side. There's no real pressure on them to do anything else. A 4-man strong. They should just get this with the Tahm Kench. They can keep people alive. They go straight in. The fear is good. Tarzan gets saved right at the last second, and now Gala's been feared again. Cannot keep himself alive, but the resets might be coming in. This is good for the Vex, who immediately gets the fear off, and now the TP well on the backside. This could be absolutely diabolically bad for the side of LNG. They're going to have to engage, but they'll lose absolutely everything in the process. It's only LvMao who stays alive. There will be a flash available for Bin. I don't even think he needs it. He's going to keep pushing forward. He's going to keep trying to get this kill. It will be left off to try and go for it, but a big moment there for RNG.
I feel like you kind of forget those moments, right? Where like a top laner TPs behind your bot lane because we don't have TPs before 14 minutes, but you took the time. It's past 14 minutes. Bin comes in with a clutch one, manages to absolutely decimate, and looks like they won't need the package because LNG make a bit of a fumble there, and RNG will be able to pick up that Cloud Dragon. Now, on the other side, Ale gets some alone time, get some free farm, right? But he will force away before he can take this tower.
Yeah, they won't be able to get the trade back in the gold. And that was a great heads-up play there by Bin to be able to TP down. And again, we said it was going to be very difficult to kill anyone here, and it looked almost like LNG were going to be able to come out on top.
Yeah, beautiful engage, and the ult onto the back line, which goes through Tarzan, forces the eat. Wei comes in, gets that reset. And, you know, this looks like it's not really going to amount to much more because Wei gets low, but this TP from Bin, I feel like LNG took a little bit too long to see it. I think he should have just dived in. You can actually see Tarzan. He knows we're not getting out. We try and trade kills. That's all we can go for, but he can't get it now. Now on that second herald, they will be able to secure this one. Obviously, second herald, a lot less lower priority than that first one without any plagues to take, but still definitely a big tool. And I expect to see it used mid, right? Cracking in mid lane tier 1 against the Corki, kind of tricky when he gets to that point. Level 11, right? He is a very powerful wave player with those rockets. Close one, but yeah, so I think probably we'll end up using it mid just to try and break that tier 1 for the time being.
Important to recognize as well, we see this so many times as well, Viego doesn't really get going until about an item, 2 items, and you see how much power you can garner, getting those resets, getting the, you know, to go almost go down, getting an extra little bit of HP and getting your ult on your, you know, kind of back off of cooldown. So this is becoming a bit of a staple for LPL junglers. Is this Viego pick? It's becoming so powerful for these teams and the way they're able to utilize it. And for Wei, 2-0 and 3, he now has to become the carry. He now has to find the engages alongside this Jax to make this one work for his team.
And it feels like as a result from the picks in this one, team fights will feel very momentum based, right? Doinb gets resets, Light gets resets. If they get a kill, they can start to snowball the fight. But on the other side, if Viego gets a kill, then obviously he gets to just steal a champion, pop all their abilities, get another ult charge. So I think we'll often see whoever goes down first in the team fight can often just swing things in the other team's favor. For now, though, we did see RNG plenty looking for a fight here. Hex Flash coming in.
Splash over the wall, not quite able to land it there onto Tarzan or Doinb. They back themselves away. Gwen is not here, but the Gwen does have a TP, so we'll be able to join out pretty quickly. And this is where the game gets a bit more aggressive, but I like to see this from RNG. Start pushing LNG's buttons, get them on the back foot, making sure they're not the ones dictating where and when you fight. And speaking of where and when you fight, Xiaohu gonna try and jump straight onto Doinb. Doinb's pretty damn safe underneath his tower.
Yeah, and I like the RNG. They kind of predicted where the Herald would come, you know, like me, in the mid lane. And they group up to defend it. Means they aren't able to break that tier 1. And now it's going to become pretty tricky for LNG to do so. Things slowing down a bit. And ultimately, you know, we talked about the mid jungle a lot in game 1, how both teams would try and snowball that. LNG were the ones who wanted to try and find that advantage. But really, Doinb's felt pretty subdued in this one. And Tarzan hasn't been having nearly as good of a game. As things goes on, you have the Corki with the tremendous range. You have Bin, who's going to hold up really well on that silent matchup. And actually, if you look so far, has the Blade of the Ring King and the Divine Sundra completed. Very scary to be dealing with for the Gwen. There is still that advantage in terms of gold for Light over Gala, but I feel like RNG are feeling pretty comfortable right now.
Uncomfortable, but again, LNG not to be outdone just yet. They are taking away some of these wards. Again, those big TP flanks from the Gwen or from the Jax can be very pivotal. Tarzan maybe looking to try and make something happen in this top side. Bin is there though, and with the Divine Thunder and the Blade the Ruined King. Will be very difficult to try and kill him. As I say that, though, they go straight in. They get the fear down, but he's going to be able to stop him underneath the tower. Tarzan tries to flash away. It's a trade of 1-for-1. Yes, you get the tower, but that's not the trade you wanted when you committed so many resources.
Yeah, the problem is they burned that TP to commit to play, but Ale obviously took so long to get there. The thing is, they try to burst Bin out before he could ult, before he could pop that E. Weren't able to do so. He turns it around, and look, the whole of LNG was on that top side. They were kind of thinking, okay, we kill Bin, we set up for Baron, we get some more kills off the back of that. So good at turning around when you have the Vex, obviously, who can hide in the brush with that fear available. But ultimately, they weren't able to burst out Bin. They end up losing their jungler, which means Baron is obviously off the cards. And now with all that committed, we'll have to reset. Xiaohu's picking up the package. Dragon spawn in 35. This would be third for RNG. They're feeling pretty comfortable.
Not going to have it happen again, as we can see there.
But actually, I want to draw your attention to something just before this starts off. Look in Xiaohu's inventory. He is literally, just as I was saying this, fully stacked that mirror mana. So he's doing damage.
He is, in fact, doing damage. He got perfect guns for a fight. As we can see, Ming hovering, hunting. But this could be a two-man Baron.
Way.
This could be a big old ruse. Ale would be able to stack this up. They don't know. They're just going to pretend this is going to be going down. This is daylight robbery, Ox. This is perfect from LNG.
They lack critical information, and now they'll suspect it now. You can see Ming heading over, but it's too late. It's gone, right? They're charging over the blue trinket. They know now.
They're going to try and get kills, but there's nothing for them to do. There's just been taken away, and that's going to be massive for LNG. Yes, it's soul point for RNG, but it's a Cloud Soul. You don't really care that much. Perfectly played by LNG, having the run around and knowing, like you said, that critical information was not available for RNG.
And the thing is, right, RNG, that's just sloppy. I think one of the things is they weren't playing towards the top side. They didn't put any vision down. If they had a ward in the Dragon Pit, that would have been enough. Literally a single ward, then LNG have to clear it. As soon as they see the ward being cleared, they know something's up. They head over, they force them off, then they go back to the Dragon. But no vision. Baron over to LNG. They're still down in gold, but it's huge to steal that one away.
Really, really is. And this is where it's going to be a little bit more difficult now for this Jax to make stuff going. Doinb is here, will not land the Everfrost as Bin just gets himself over on a leap and a jump. But yeah, this is now becoming very difficult. This is now becoming very, very tentative towards LNG. You're only down about a couple of hundred gold. You don't really care about that. You now have the Zhonya's for Xiaohu, the Nashor's Tooth for Gwen for Ale. Like, this is where this game can turn on a knife's edge, and they're going to be able to pick up a lot of standing gold as well.
This is painful for RNG. Undefeated LNG. 1-0 in the series already. Starting to take some structures. The ult comes down from Gala, but won't really be able to do much. You do see that currently RNG is trading the side. Oh, nearly connect.
Almost get it. They're going to be able to pick up a tier 2, you would imagine. Doinb, though, gets stunned up a little bit. He's going to take a lot of harassment. We'll get the fear down on top of Wave, but Sonic Wave very rarely goes over to the side, and now LNG taking all of this free gold, all of this free standing tier 2s, and they are feeling happy with that very clutch decision-making to get themselves a free Baron.
Absolutely, and it's painful for RNG, right? This is two top 5 teams going head-to-head. It's going to have huge stakes in terms of the head-to-head standings that we see at the end of the split, deciding playoff spots, and also just closing the gap, right? If LNG win this game, they are 8-0. 2 wins clear of RNG. Even though RNG will have played an extra game, definitely would be painful. And for LNG, this is their first team they've played in the top 5. After this, they play Weibo, they play V5. They will have a spree of top 5 teams in the LPL to challenge. This is their first one, and I feel like that Baron sneak might have just been enough to bring them back in. It definitely felt like they're slowing down in this game. A light 50 CS up in the matchup. 2-1-2 in this Jinx. Definitely feeling like it's coming online. 3 items completed, and Tarzan trying to force Xiaohu away, clear some vision, keep getting value out of this Baron.
Again, more and more pressure coming out here from LNG. They've now equaled out the gold. They've actually taken a slight gold lead. 2 minutes until that Dragon Soul spawns, and they're going to be able to take out the 3rd and final tier 2 turret. You would imagine, but it looks like they may be looking to try and go for an engage here. You have to be careful. Wei is pretty big. Also has a stopwatch. Tarzan, what was that? And that's got to be a misclick. The stopwatch must have been where his Gore Drinker normally sits, and he pressed it by accident.
Yeah, or maybe he thought he had a control ward into this control ward spot. I don't know, man. Either way, Tarzan, you're allowed to make mistakes like those. You're supposed to be perfect. It won't have too much impact right now, but They are still trying to fish for something. Ming's going in.
They're going fishing, and they found themselves a cook. They get themselves right on top of this. There's already some decent damage gone down. Light and Tarzan have to back themselves away. Doinb goes in, but it's only on the support. He will go golden, and before he goes down, you've traded a mid laner for a support. That is still work for RNG. Now Bin looking to see if he can make something work for him and his team right now. Instead decides to go for the ward, but a minute 10 till that dragon spawns, and RNG find themselves a lifeline.
I'm just going to say, though, right, LNG already used that Baron to great effect. And honestly, I actually credit Doinb. That was a good call to go in because you saw Bin coming on the flank. You saw RNG ready to chase down the low health bars. Because Doinb flew in, they all had to turn around on him. Didn't have an opportunity to get anything more. We'll see the replay. So you can see this moment, right? The engage comes out from Ming. And look at the amount of damage that starts getting layered down onto LNG, right? The ultimate hits light. He's already low. He's getting chunked out. And look at Bin on the flank. And I'm thinking, right, LNG, you need to get out. All the team are pushing up. And then Doinb flies in. Suddenly, all of RNG are like, we have to answer this. The Zhonya's buys time as well. The fight is now over. So actually pretty heads up on him to go in and stop RNG from getting more. And now setup's coming for the dragon. Package available. Gold is dead even. And this would be soul for RNG.
Yeah, I don't think you're in a position, though, to contest this right now as LNG. You're too late to the pit. There is 15 seconds. They might try and just brute force themselves through it. They have linked up as a 5-man, and they want to try and deathball this one up. Ala will put himself into the mist, but that means that's down for a couple of seconds. He's not going to have the same survivability. Dragon will spawn, and it's got perfect guns here for Gala. He's going to be able to red and white his way through this, and yeah, LNG, you cannot contest this. You cannot approach. The Corki is too scary, especially with that package.
Yeah, they'll just look to push down mid. I was going to try and head over, and with the package still available, I don't think LNG will do too much more to push, but they now have an opportunity, right? Baron spawning in 40 seconds. They can sweep through the top side of the map, start to get down some early vision, reset, get some more wards for LvMao, steal away from the jungle camp. Scuttle Crab up and available. Tarzan will take that. LvMao already resetting to get some more vision. But ultimately, it is soul for RNG. Cloud Soul, that extra movement speed when chasing down kills can be pivotal, especially in. You can pop that ultimate on command, get that burst of speed. Way, when you look for those resets, definitely valuable. They will move over to sweep out any vision that's being laid down, but that Scuttle Crab being there, pretty pivotal for LNG. Won't be able to clear that one out.
That reset, though, does mean that Gwen will not be able to get back in time. They can't put Ala down. They actually just stopped Ala.
Wait, Ala!
There you go.
But look at your screen, dude.
The important thing I was going to say about that was that Bin recognized that the Gwen wasn't coming, so he was able to split push in that bot side, take down that tier 2. That reset on the back gives them so much time, so much energy, and so much resources to be able to commit towards that bottom side. It is still only a couple of hundred of gold in favor of RNG, but the Cloud Soul should do so much. Now you have the Runan's Hurricane being finished up here by Gala. You are against a 3-item Jinx, who has got the Hex Drinker backup is in back pocket as well. This game is getting very, very tense, and this is the game I wanted. And now Ala is going to start up the Baron, but the side of RNG are around here. You can't sneak this one away this time, LNG.
Yeah, they're really scared of the poke. The reason they want to start this is because Baron isn't synced with the package. If they start a fight now, no package to deal with. Engage coming in.
They're going to go straight on him. Doinb is dead. He had nowhere to go. Was CC'd up and nowhere to try and protect himself. Now the resets can really start coming in. Heartbreaker over the wall. Tarzan has been caught by the enemy number jungler as they can try and run away. LNG 100% retreating, and out of nowhere, RNG have full control of this pit.
LNG, though, doing some expert marathon with... Man, Tarzan nearly going down. He's the jungler, remember, right? No flash available, super low in HP. They can just do this Baron. No contest to come out. Yes, RNG didn't get the kills they wanted there, but they will get the big purple worm, and that is exactly what they wanted, turning things back in their favor in this game. Already, look at this wave top lane. No hesitation from Bin going for this one, but we'll get a replay of that fight, and it's just perfect CC setup for Ming. Q into the ult, doesn't get a time to even press the Zhonya's. Way stopwatches, so they can't punish him. And yes, they can't chase down more, but instantly pick the Baron, take that top tier 2, get that extra golden pocket. They will now reset, spend the money that they've been able to accrue. They already had the soul. They've now got a 3,000 gold lead. RNG, there was that slip up with the Baron, but they're looking to be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, really solid now as they can start to make this split push work. You've got the Jax, who's absolutely massive right now, even as a force of nature, going up towards what I think is actually a final. Well, I'm not quite sure exactly where the Kindle Gem and the Warden's Mail builds into myself, but
Randuin's, isn't it?
Randuin's. I thought it was Giant Spell, but either way, neither here nor there as they come into it now. And this Jax is going to become impossible to deal with. I don't think the Gwen can actually do a lot into this matchup, even with the Morellos and the Nashor's 2 finished up. There's just so much to try and burn through that if you're by yourself and the rest of the team from RNG come around, there's just not a lot for you to do. As I say that, Tarzan goes over the wall, lands a Q, and Wei walks away.
Yeah, they're trying to maintain pressure in the area, but the big thing for me is, yes, we haven't seen too much gain from RNG on this Baron. The reset's kind of a little bit staggered in this situation, and LNG managing to sort of mitigate any pressure. They are going to start pushing up wave now. They have a minute 30. What I want to see from RNG is while you have the Baron, get some deep vision in, establish control, push the waves in. If you get structures, it's nice. It's not that important. The main thing is take control of the map. And that means when that dragon spawns, the Elder, LNG are really going to struggle to contest, to push in against the Corki poke when they are dealing. And if they give it the dragon, it's doomed. But RNG still fishing.
They're fishing.
Coming in.
LNG, though, they're going to look for it. They're going to try and get the kick in, but Tarzan already down below half health to get the Shadow Surge. Flash in with the personal space, and Doinb may have lost on the bar, but he's set them up for this fight. Now the Jinx can get the resets in. Corki has to try and do something here. They need to try and defend Wei, as it's a 3v4 for the moment. Doinb not quite able to see if they can get the last kill. Flash forward, the ignite! The golden, but it's going to be taken out. Light should be able to get him. He had so many ways of delaying this. LNG find an opportunity and get themselves back into this game.
They managed to stop the Baron push, right? Everyone's going to be spawned for the Elder, and critically, Xiaohu, before he goes down, he actually chunks Light, forces a Tahm ult. With Bin back on the map, they're not going to be able to end. I'm not even kidding. That could have been close, right? Light was full HP. And with the Tahm ult, they maybe could have pushed it down mid, or at least got an inhibitor. But the extended play ends up saving RNG. But man, LNG crushed it. I thought that the fact they backed away, they would be fine. But look at the Gwen damage on this sphere. Look at Gala. What? Where'd he go? Right? And then they follow up on the fight. And being down your Aphelios already makes things really rough. Xiaohu does a great job of getting this damage down. And one of the critical things is because the GA ends up buying so much time, LNG can't really capitalize much on this. We can see things have reset. RNG is still back on the map, right? But Xiaohu has to TP in. He's going to be a little bit late on this one. So LNG, this is a window. They could try and force it now. Actually, he's going down.
Why are you there, my friend? Why are you pushing it when he's still a Gwen and he's still healing up? That healing was ridiculous. They still haven't taken him down finally to get him. And here comes the package across everybody. Burn, baby, burn. RNG find themselves a fight. Triple kill for Bin. And RNG will bring us to a game 3.
Oh, LNG try and defend the top laner in the choke, and that package just wrecked them. Man, absolutely deleted them. Back and forth game. RNG find it in the end, though. Definitely took it to the wire, and they're going to equalize this series at 1-1. But damn, did they have to work for this.
You got your wish, Ox. We are going to a game 3. RNG do not falter. They do not let game 1 get them 2 down. It will bring us up to 1 apiece. Plenty to talk about in that game. Almost thrown away, I feel, by RNG in that mid lane skirmish, but LNG not quite able to do it. And at the end of it all,